So here now with more, Congressman Trey Gowdy, the chair of the House Oversight Committee. Good to see you tonight, Congressman. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So with regard to oversight and your role, and there's already discussions about wanting to talk to Donald Trump Jr. about this meeting on the Hill, is it illegal to speak to a foreign national who you believe is going to turn over opposition research on a candidate?
I haven't been a real lawyer in 7 years, Martha, so I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer the legality of it. The good news for us is we have a guy named Robert Mueller, who's a former United States attorney and the head of the FBI. And if you look at the document that empowers him with jurisdiction, the very first entry links coordination between the Russian government and members of the Trump campaign. So I'm going to let Bob Mueller sort out all the criminality. That is not the job of members of Congress. It is not the job of the New York Times.
All right. So in terms of this Donald Jr. story that's out there today, are you troubled by any of it?
Yeah, I'm troubled on three levels. Number one, the legal level, but I think that's Bob Mueller's lane. The political level, Martha, here we are beginning another week, this one in July, with a new revelation about Russia. And then the third, which is more of a medical issue, is the amnesia of people that are in the Trump orbit. Someone close to the president needs to get everyone connected with that campaign in a room and say, from the time you saw Dr. Zhivago until the moment you drank vodka with a guy named Boris, you list every single one of those, and we're going to turn them over to the special counsel, because this drip, drip, drip is undermining the credibility of this administration.
Well, you may be right about that. In terms of this Magnitsky Act, which basically is a U.S. act that went through Congress that limits friends of Vladimir Putin, close associates, from doing things they like to do, like traveling to the United States, traveling, throughout other areas in the world, because it's a slap on the wrist for human rights violations, and it's selective in terms of who it impacts. It also, so their punishment, the Russian government's punishment, was to say, we're going to end all of these adoptions that are happening to the United States and a few other things that they did. Are you concerned that there was an effort to influence this campaign with regard to changing that, or to find a sort of sympathetic ear on that?
I'm not nearly as concerned with that. I've had members of my own church impacted by the inability to adopt children from Russia. I'm much more concerned about the purported reason for the meeting as opposed to the real reason. The purported reason was for an agent of a foreign power to try to influence our election. That concerns me more than someone trying to sit down with a member of perhaps an incoming administration to lobby for a policy change. I'm much more concerned with the actual words in the email than the real reason she wanted to meet.
Which